This is the AAPL shares 1 month overview reading for the month of August 2023. It's currently June 9th, 2023, 3:03 p.m. Eastern Time. AAPL shares at the time of this reading is currently $182.01. That's USD. And the shuffle file for the August reading was created on May 20th, 2023 at 11:28 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So the overall theme and behavior, we have a pretty bearish month for August. We declined through multiple support levels. There may be a decision between two leaders, or a decision of some kind that's highlighted here that impacts Apple shares. There might be a merger, actually. There may be some sort of merger highlighted here with the Lovers card. And then pretty notable decline throughout. It looks like we have a high early in the month, a low late in the month. Behavior around the highest high when I'm looking in real time to determine if we've met the highest high. One of the criteria that I'm going to be looking for is a period of sideways rotation around the high, like around the highest price level, and a sharp drop in that period of sideways rotation, revisiting a support level that was an opportunity in the midst of that sharp drop. So we should see that type of behavior around the high. Probably what we do is we rotate sideways along the high and then drop off from it. Behavior around the lowest low, I'll be looking for sideways rotation along key support. That's key support, again, for both the high and the low. We're talking about key price levels on the scale of at least the 1 month chart. And it looks like sideways rotation along key support around the low that increases with bullish momentum moving forward in time. It also looks like there's a pretty notable trade opportunity at the low for the month. So we want to take advantage of a trade opportunity around the low, which I'll get into in much more detail in the paid version. So before we go any further, let's take a look at the 1 year and see how we're doing. We've already verified most of this in past readings, but just to run through it real quick, we had this fast sudden move higher out of early January straight through January. We have a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. In February, we have early reversal and then erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, revisiting a crest that was recently a past opportunity. That's the pleasure card. And then the period of volatility in early March that ends with a fast sudden move higher, Knight of Swords, followed by meeting a key resistance level and declining with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. That's late May into April. We have an important technical price level highlighted here in April. Looks like a kind of like a pausing point here for a little bit, and then a rally in late April that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line, taking us into May. We have a peak that we sell off from in May, followed by a move out of a trough in late May. Big move out of a trough, and then it looks like this, probably in past readings haven't defined it this way, but the adjustment card in some cases indicates a gap up, and that's what we see there. We also see most likely location of the highest high between here June and July. Towards the end of July is probably where it's at, taking us into August. This is pretty solid, guys. We're at highs here in June. We'll probably see the same price level or a higher price level here in July. On the first of the month, we have a crest that we sell off down to and through support. We do a U-shaped reversal, come back and reuse that support as support. That support on a multi-day scale. This is also a significant crest. I should point out there's a cross-reading congruency. The July sneak preview card is the luxury card, and it's notating that this is an important moment. So we may see the high here and then revisit the high here around the 3rd, 4th. Most likely location of the high in August is going to be the 4th, but we may see it here, or either that or this is just a notable drop from a peak or crest somehow will stand out. We have a trough most likely at the end of the day, and then we come back early on the 2nd. It looks like we meet a resistance level, and there's an important resistance level on a multi-day scale. We have consecutively lower spikes up on the way down, breaking down from that resistance level. There's a prominent peak or crest, maybe like late morning session on the 3rd, failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. That's also where we have our first trade correlation on the chart, and I'll talk about the trade that I see there in much more detail in the paid version. Guys, if you're interested in the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel. We remember the names of everybody that goes ahead and does that, and where you get the paid version, you go to our website, tarotfortraders.com. Under our services, SO Meta Posts, that'll bring you here. You can subscribe to any one of these individual subscriptions. They come out monthly ahead of the month, and the paid version has about 5 minutes, 3 to 8 minutes at the end of each video talking about the best trades that we see, what to look for as far as chart behavior for exits and entries and around the timing, that sort of stuff. Very, very beneficial. If you're interested in multiples, you can always get the 250. This is very, very popular. Remember, we're not always right, so don't ever trade like we're always right. Trade responsibly, but this is really valuable information, my friends. Much appreciation goes out to all of our supporters doing that, because you are the people that are providing the support necessary for us to bring this content to those of you watching this. So blessings to you, my friends. Thank you so much for that. On the 4th, we most likely have a highest high correlation on the 4th, but my sense is that we probably see it the high multiple times in the week, the 1st through the 4th. Maybe we see it on the 1st, the 3rd, and the 4th, somewhere around there. There's also going to be an important trough early in the day on the 4th, so be mindful of that. On the 7th, there's a fast sudden move higher out of a trough. 4th is also a significant fake out, shake out of some kind. It'll stand out on a multi-day scale as an important fake out or some sort of tricky chart behavior. On the 7th, hard to say where we open, but midday on the 7th, we have a trough and a fast sudden move higher on a multi-day scale. On the 8th, another trough midday, a trade opportunity there that we'll talk about in the paid version. And that's in the midst of a period of volatility that has a sharp drop within that period of volatility. That sharp drop will likely take us to that trough midday. On the 9th, however, we do see decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time. Looks like a pretty significant decline from the 8th into the 9th. And the 8th is a little tricky. That might not be a trough. That might actually be a crest, like a significantly lower crest than we had on the 3rd, 4th. There's volatility and a sharp drop there, and then that decline increases with the momentum moving forward into at least into midday on the 9th. A big move out of the low, pushing the upper end of a range higher on a one-day scale. On the 10th, we have erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. In the midst of that erratic behavior, we revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. Looks like we have a crest early on the 10th, a trough late on the 10th, and then a higher crest, it looks like maybe late morning session on the 11th. It's a brief peak that's easily missed. It forms when we have a breakout there on a multi-day scale, and a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a sharp decline there on the 11th through multiple support levels and a notable trade opportunity there that I'll talk about in more detail. We come up against a important trough on a multi-day scale, on a 1 month scale here on the 14th. That crest that we see late morning session on the 11th, it's a brief peak that's easily missed, forms from a breakout, followed by a decline through multiple support levels, takes us into an important trough here on the 14th. And my sense is that this could be the first time we see the low for the month. It's possible that this is a low for the month here. Not as probable as the 24th, but still a pretty strong likelihood. Reason being is that we're looking for sideways rotation. Usually when you see rotation involved in a low, you see the low more than once, just because of the sideways rotation. And occasionally that happens, you know, if you see sideways rotation around the high as well, but not as much with the Queen of Discs as you would see with the Prince of Discs. The Prince of Discs is much more sideways rotation-y. That important trough, it marks a significant trade opportunity. There's also a day trade opportunity there on the 14th. We'll talk about in the paid version in much more detail, but we should see a significant decline there, and something regarding a merger may come out on the 14th as well. We go from that trough on the 14th to, looks like the upper end of a range on the 15th, or maybe early in the day on the 16th, upper end of a range and a crest, an important crest for the month, followed by a decline on the 16th from that crest down to revisit a support level that we recently met before. So probably the trough that we saw there on the 14th will be revisited again there on the 16th. However, late morning session on the 16th, there should be a notable move to the upside. On the 17th, we have an unexpected move higher to a crest or peak or early afternoon session from which there's a sharp decline. And then on the 18th, sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher, taking us to a peak or crest. We attempt to establish support, it looks like, at a peak or crest on the 24th, and that turns into a trade opportunity, possibly even a day trade opportunity towards the end of the day on the 21st, and I'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. On the 22nd, a near overbought peak or crest that we sell off through multiple support levels. On the 23rd, that decline continues through multiple support levels into what's most likely the lowest low there on the 24th early in the day. Decline on the 24th into a lowest low early in the day offers a significant trade opportunity, which we'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. There's a crest that'll stand out on the 24th as well, so probably a lot of price change. And then on the 25th, we move into a rally mode, and that rally also offers significant trade opportunities we'll detail in the paid version. On the 28th, an important technical price level is highlighted. That's an important technical price level on at least a 1 year scale, highlighted, and it looks like towards the end of the day on the 28th, another trade opportunity there. There's also somebody speaking around the day's high on the 28th. Whatever's being spoken about, it shouldn't be trusted or relied upon. On the 24th, a significant move higher on a multi-day scale, even in the face of seemingly overwhelming headwinds. On the 30th, We have quite a lot of price change, looks like to the downside, diagonal decline along a diagonal trend line. On the 31st, however, we have a breakout on a multi-day scale, and then the sneak preview for September is a rally offering significant trade opportunity. I'll talk about this in much more detail in the paid version as well, but there's a lot of juicy trading going on here, guys. So don't miss out on that. Great way to support the channel. With that said, my friends, that's the AAPL shares 1 month overview reading for August 2023. Don't forget, as always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. It's the most important thing about the channel. Make sure to follow it. You do so here at the resources tab, where we ask it you take 5% of the profits that you make from the information on this channel and donate it forward to one of these charities, guaranteeing abundance mentality in your own mind. And then we ask that you send 5% of the profits donated back to the channel here through Cashapp, PayPal, Venmo, or if you're an international supporter here on Wise. We're gonna do an event at some point where only angel investors are invited, to really honor the people that are following through on this, because that's what's most important for me about this channel, and I really appreciate you angel investors. Make sure to spend that remaining 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, that's the rule of karma for the channel. The universe is gonna send it back to you tenfold through this channel, my friends. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.